ERA of 3.77 against the Yanks. But one thing, he hasn't pitched against the Yankees in 3 years from 07, right around this time. Here's the first pitch to Jeter, and it's a breaking ball strike, and the count 0-1. We'll give you Herron's stats. They're really unusual. He has fabulous control, but boy, he's been hit. And part of it is the ballpark. The ball flies out. I'll give you his numbers. Here's the 0-1 to Jeter. And the pitch is low. He has added, Tom Candiotti, who does radio with Greg Schulte of Arizona, told me he's added a cutter this year, which I'm sure he uses. 39 RBIs. And the 1-1. Swung on in line like a bullet. Base hit center field. So Jeter gives the Yankees a good start. And here's Nick Swisher. Herron 7-5, 4.71, as Susan told you. 15 games and starts, 101 innings, 115 hits. Now, here's where you know he has good stuff. He has 20 walks. 20 walks. That's actually less than 2 per 9. He has struck out 101. Wow. A 5-to-1 ratio. So you say, that's great. Now, I'll tell you what's not great. He's given up 18 home runs, or basically one every 5.5 innings. So that's been his downfall, the long ball. Jeter off first, and Swisher swings and misses on a split. And the count 0-1. We are coming to you live from the Lowe's broadcast booth. Let's build something together. Now Jeter on first with a ringing single. Swisher's at 296, 11 homers and 44 RBIs. Jeter, very short lead. Pitch swung on and hit in the air to deep center. Back is Young. Now he comes in a step, makes the catch. Jeter started a tag just to see where the throw was going, and Young made a great throw into second. So for Swisher, a fly ball to pretty deep center, one away. And here's Mark Teixeira.
And Swisher's shaking his head, and that's the same thing that happened last night. It looks like the Yankees adjusted a tad off, and they're hitting. The timing's not been good because that ball should have been hit a lot further than it was. And you remember last night, if you were listening, the Diamondback outfielders made all kinds of incredible catches out there.
They did indeed. A throw to first. Teixeira at 225, 12 homers, 44 RBIs. Now Jeter at first, 1 on, 1 out, top of the first, no score. And Herron deals. There's a strike on the outside corner. And the count 0-1 on Teixeira. The outfield plays him absolutely straight away. And basically the infield does. No shift here. Pitch is swung on. A high fly to left. Going toward the line is Gillespie. He makes the catch for the second out. And they're 2 away.
And almost the same kind of thing. You can almost hear that the ball is being sliced. They're not getting the ball right on the barrel of the bat.
Last night, Alex Rodriguez drove a double to the gap in right center, a long, hard line drive, and then hit one that I thought was going to be out, and it was run down by Chris Young right near that 413, which is both to the right and left of dead center. This one was to the right of dead center. I guess the point I'm making is it looked like A-Rod had his swing back. He was hitting the ball to right center. The pitch is low outside, 1-0. Alex down to 276. Homers, 45 RBIs. You know, the Yankees take the field tonight. They have the best record in the majors, and they're doing it without big contributions from Alex and from Teixeira. Pitch. There's a strike in the count, 1-1. I'm not saying no contributions. I mean, Teixeira had big home runs against the Mets over the weekend, but you know that Teixeira and A-Rod can hit a lot better and with a lot more power. Boy, the Yanks are counting on it. There'll be a 1-1. Swung on, and there it goes. Deep left center field. It is high. It is far. It is gone. It is a 2-run home run to deep left center field. It's an A-bomb from A-Rod. A 2-run mighty blast. And the Yankees take a 2-0 lead. Jeter waits at home plate to exchange high fives with A-Rod as they both arrive home safely. Help keep your family safe and secure. New York Life Insurance Company. 165 years of financial strength helps ensure your loved ones will always be taken care of. New York Life, the company you keep.
Well, fastball really in Alex's wheelhouse, and you knew that was going to be hit a long way, and that's Herron's bugaboo the whole year. And you saw Jeter waiting for Alex, as John described, patting him on the head. I'll tell you why in a minute.
The pitch is low to Robbie Cano. So the Yankees get a 2-0 lead. A-Rod's 9th homer. He now has 47 RBIs.
Alex Rodriguez knows how important he is to this team and was starting to get a little frustrated and a little down on himself because of the hip.
Pitch is popped up to third. Mark Reynolds waiting for it, and he makes the catch.
And the whole team was telling him it's just a matter of time, and one of them was Derek Jeter. So you saw a little pat on the head like, see, it's going to be okay.
Well, it's a great start for the Yankees. They get A-Rod to hit a 2-run blast. 2 runs, 2 hits, and no one left. Now the end of a half. The Yankees 2. Arizona coming to bat on the Yanks radio network, driven by Jeep.
If you or a loved one were exposed to
at some point, but it really is high up there. Amazing.
Oh, one away. Here is right-hand hitting Cole Gillespie, just a recall for the minors. He takes a strike. He was up earlier in the year. He's 10 for 39, a homer, 4 RBIs. Johnson, before the out, a left-hand hitter, was at 265, 13 homers, 34 RBIs. And the 0-1 to Gillespie is high. Well, you can't be any better than Pettit's 8-2 and an ERA of 2.47. In the American League with a DH and all, and in the Eastern Division, his ERA is less than 2.5. Let's say 2.5. Really something. I'll give you his numbers in a moment. Here's the 1-1. And the pitch inside, the count 2-1.
Gillespie's 26 years old, and he's been up and back from Reno to the Diamondbacks for the last couple of years.
A right-hand hitter with a widespread stance. The pitch is line foul. First base side out of play. Well, Andy, 13 games and starts, 87 innings, 72 hits. That's very un-Pettit-like, who gives up a lot of hits because he gives up a lot of ground balls. 15 less hits than innings pitched. He's walked 25, about 2.5 per 9. Struck out 62 and given up only 8 home runs. The 2-2 struck him out swinging. Cutter in.
And Gillespie, one of those players, he can play both outfield corner positions and plays third and first. So he's an infielder and an outfielder. And you're seeing a lot of that. A lot of young players coming up that can play multiple positions because everybody has 100 people on the pitching staff.
It's absolutely true. And boy, if you're a young player, you should try to get a lot of different gloves and try to play a lot of different spots and get you a job. Here is Stephen Drew, the lefty hitting shortstop, and the pitch, a fastball high. Drew at 271, 4 homers and 29 RBIs. Drew, a left-hand hitter, stands way off the plate. 2 outs, no one on, bottom of the first, 2-0 Yanks, and the breaking ball is a strike. And the count 1-1. He throws them all. He throws a 2-seam fastball, a 4-seam fastball, and the cut fastball. And he throws a breaking ball and a change. And the thing about Andy this year, seems to basically have control of most of them every game. The pitch caught on him, missed a cutter down and away from the left-hand hitter, like a slider. And the count 1-2.
And Drew just nodded as if to say, okay, I see where that goes. Drew's now 27 out of Florida State. He was the D-backs #1 pick in 2004.
There's the 1-2 as grounded foul, third base side of home plate. So the count holds at 1-2.
And Drew, yes, is the younger brother of J.D. Drew. And personality-wise, John, these two couldn't be more different. Stephen Drew is very fiery, and J.D. a little more laconic, I'll put it that way. And there was a third brother, Timmy, who pitched in the Indians organization for a while, but he left baseball not long ago.
Here's the 1-2 from Pettit. Inside fastball. And the count 2-2. Yankees have a 2-0 lead on the 2-run home run by A-Rod in the first inning. Now Andy set to go in the 2-2. Swung on a fly ball to left. Gardner back a step or two, makes the catch to end the inning. So Pettit has a 1-2-3. And now at the end of one inning of play, 2-0 Yanks on the New York Yankees radio network, driven by Jeep. Yankees. Now, here we go to the top of the second inning. It'll be Posada, Granderson, and Gardner, 6, 7, and 8. Remember, no DH in the National League cities. So Pettit will be a hitter in the 9th spot. Here's Georgie at 287. 9 homers, 25 RBIs. And Herron deals. There was a strike on the outside corner. Hey, one funny thing on the board, just before the game started, we didn't have time to bring it up. They give you the temperature. And there's the 0-1. It's inside. And let me tell you, dry heat, wet heat is hot as can be. Anyway, it's 79 in the dome, and the temperature outside is 102. That was the 1-1. Grounded foul outside of first. So they put up the outside temperature 102, very hot. Like you needed someone to tell you that. Well, when you go out in the morning, and Carlos and Susan and I all hit Starbucks at the same time, it's right next to the hotel. And when you go out, boy, you're amazed at how warm it is so quickly. The 1-2 is low. I mean, I don't think it goes below 95 here. Did you see that there were when the bus left last night, the players' bus, we got on the bus, and there's a big clock outside one of the streets. The 2-2. Grounded foul on a breaking ball. It was 11 o'clock at night. It was 89 degrees. It is something. It's a very different life in the summertime. And it never stops. It doesn't. It's not like you'll have a week of this and then it'll cool off. No, it stays like this till October. No, you have at least 2 months of it. Oh, boy. Now the 2-2. Strike through his skull. Good fastball. Maybe Posada looking for something else. Right on the inside corner. Georgie had a word for Wally Bell. I gather it wasn't happy birthday. So one away, and here is Granderson. Well, I'm not sure what Posada thought that was, because it was over the plate, right on the corner. Maybe he thought it was low, but it sure looked like it was right on the corner of the plate. Oh, boy, I just saw the replay again. That was a strike. Yeah. Here's Granderson, and there's a strike with a fastball. Curtis at 234, 6 homers and 20 RBIs, a left-hand hitter. Lefty hitter with power and speed. The 0-1 is a change high outside, 1-1. Yankee fans, go to StarterSports.com and save nearly 50%. There's the 1-1. There's striking the count 1-2. Save nearly 50% on a Francisco Cervelli autographed baseball and glass display case by simply adding the promo code CATCHER during checkout. Pitch, grounded foul. Go to StarterSports.com and click the second to none banner for this item and other great Yankee collectibles. So Grandy behind on the count, 1-2. 1 out, no one on. 2-0 Yanks, top of the second. The pitch is a fastball high. Herron's bugaboo, the home run ball, and it reared its ugly head last inning. The 2-2. God on him. He struck him out. You know that he has great stuff. How else would you have 101 strikeouts and 20 walks? So you know he throws strikes and has great stuff. He strikes so many people out, but boy, he gives up the long ball.
And that's a different kind of splitter that he just got him with. It didn't break on the ground, and it comes at you about letters high, and then it has a very tight break.
And he throws hard enough and hard enough cutters to where the split finger is a changeup, basically. And he has people out ahead. Here's Gardner. There's a strike. Now, this is a big at-bat. Why? Because if Gardner gets on, then you can get rid of the pitcher. Andy Pettitte on deck. Gardner had 4 hits last night, and 3 of them using his speed. To that end, Mark Reynolds, the third baseman, in on the infield grass. Pitch to Gardner is low. Gardner has raised his average to .324. That's pretty heavy. We're getting toward the mid-year portion, and he's at .324, 3 homers and 22 RBIs. There's the 1-1. There's a strike with a fastball. Fastball 91. Now the count 1-2. And Joe Girardi, somewhat kiddingly on the manager's show, said, stay away from 2 strikes, because then you're going to see that splitter. Sometimes it's tough to do that. Now the 1-2. Fastball, strike 3. Nailed the outside corner. So Dan Harron strikes out the side. And at the end of an inning and a half, it's 2-0 Yanks on the New York Yankees radio network, driven by Jeep.
When people say, why Ford? Why now? Here's why. Ford has outstanding quality.
Tax extra.
10-second station ID on the New York. John Sterling, Susan Waldman at Chase Field in Phoenix. Bottom of the second, 2-0 Yanks. Here's Justin Upton, who had a career last night. Right-hand hitter with power. He had 2 home runs, knocked in 4 runs. And there's a strike. And he was on base all 5 times against the Yanks. Also made a lot of good catches in the outfield. Pettitte sneaks in a strike in the count 0-1.
Scoreboard update sponsored by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers.
Andy's 0-1, grounded wide at third, fielded by Jeter. The long throw is not in time. Jeter made a great throw. He was 2 feet back on the outfield grass, reared back and threw his best fastball. But Upton is just too fast, and he beat the throw. Upton was at .256, 13 homers and 38 RBIs. Here's Chris Young, another right-hand hitter with power. He's at .278, 12 homers and 49 RBIs.
We go to the bottom of the 7th in Washington. The Nationals lead Kansas City 4-1. Josh Willingham and Adam Dunn have both homered. Phillies behind Jamie Moyer beat Cleveland 2-1. Moyer gets the win. Mitch Talbot takes the loss. Jimmy Rollins is back off the DL and was 0 for 4 today. Russell Branyan had his 10th homer for Cleveland.
Oh.
Yeah.
Pettitte throws to first. Well, Jamie Moyer now has tied legend Robin Roberts for the most home runs given up by a pitcher in the big leagues.
Mm-hmm.
He needs one more to
have the record all to himself, because those guys aren't pitching anymore, right? We were looking at that list. I remember when Jamie pitched, and John just reminded me, all those guys on that list are all in the Hall of Fame.
Now Pettitte deals there as a strike at the knees. Now the count 0-1 on Young.
Florida beating up on Baltimore 10-4, top of the 9th at Camden Yards. Matt Wieters, his 6th home run of the year. St. Louis beat Toronto 9-4. Jaime Garcia gets the win. Brett Cecil takes the loss.
Upton leads off first, and Pettitte to the plate. It's hit in the air, foul, twisting into the seats down the right field line. And the count 0-2 on Chris Young.
Yadi Molina, Matt Holliday, Lopez, and Rasmus all hit homers for St. Louis. Jose Bautista, who's been in a homer drought, hit 2 for Toronto. And this is the week, John, that Jose Molina brought their mother there. They lost their dad this year. And Benji was in last week, and now Yadi is there and hit a home run tonight. So the Molinas have a reunion.
The pitch is a cutter. Did he go? Yes, he did. So there is the second strikeout for Pettit. Tell one thing about Chris Young. He left. He didn't take much of his swing. Probably was a strike anyway. He just left the plate. So 1 on, 1 out. Here's the lefty hitting first baseman, Adam LaRoche.
San Diego leading Tampa Bay 2-1. They go to the top of the 9th at Tropicana. Matt Latos and Wade Davis started that game. Mets beating up on Detroit 11-2. And they beat up on Justin Verlander, who only went 2+ innings, giving up 5 runs and 5 hits, 3 walks and 2 strikeouts. Jonathan Nish is going for the Mets.
I wonder if anyone's going to ask Leland if he's going to take Verlander out of the rotation.
Yeah, I wouldn't ask Jim Leland a question like that. He'd have an answer for you. They might not like it.
LaRoche at .258, 10 homers, his 10th last night, 45 RBIs. Pitch, there's a strike from Andy.
Texas is leading Pittsburgh now 5-3, top of the 7th in Arlington. Michael Young, Julio Bourbon, and Josh Hamilton all homered off of Ross Ollendorf. Tommy Hunter is pitching for Texas. White Sox leading Atlanta 9-3. They are in the bottom of the 6th in Chicago.
Well, the count holds at 1-2.
John, do you ever think you'd see us score 1-0 at Coors Field in the 5th inning? Just
No.
think back 10 years.
Although John Lester's pitching, so who's pitching against him?
Chassin, Julie Chassin.
By the way, one note about Snyder as he stands in against Andy. From the National League Pettit days, Snyder's 4 for 10 off him. Now, he's got the tying runs on. A base hit will undoubtedly tie the game. 2-0 Yanks, bottom the second, 2 outs. Runners second and third, and it will be a 1-2 to Snyder. First, Snyder backs out.
Snyder out of the University of Houston, where Andy Pettit's hometown. He's almost 30. He's 29 this year. Diamondbacks number 2 pick in 2002.
Here's the 1-2. Foul back off a fastball. So the count holds at 1-2. By the way, that fastball, now this is, use their gun. How do we really know how accurate it is? That last fastball by Pettit was 91, which for Andy is a lot. Now, once again, it'll be a 1-2 to Chris Snyder. A right-handed with a very spread stance. His back foot is almost on the restraining line, and his front foot is almost on the front line. And that obviously is to stop him from overstriding. Runners lead at second and third, 2 out. Be a 1-2. The pitch high fastball, 2-2.
Overthrew that fastball at 90 miles an hour.
Pettit trying to work out of a jam now. 2-2 with Snyder. The pitch is grounded foul off third as Snyder is making him work. Snyder backed out of the box, now back in. LaRoche off third. Reynolds off second with 2 out. The outfield about straight away. The pitch swung on and popped up again behind the plate, over the screen, out of play. One thing is odd. Maybe it has to do with 2 strikes, where a hitter won't be taking as big a cut. Grandison was playing him a little bit over in left center. Now the count is 2-2, and I noticed before the last pitch he moved over a little bit toward right center.
I think that's exactly. I think you hit it right on the head, John. They take a more controlled swing with 2 strikes.
Swisher comes in at right for this big, strong guy. He's kind of playing shallow. Oh, this is a long duel between Pettit and Snyder. And the 2-2. Half swing and a cutter. Did he go? No. On the count, 3-2. You wouldn't think it was a big thing, 3-2 on the 8th hitter. Throw him your best pitch, and if you walk him, well, so what? But in Herron's case, he's such a good hitter. I don't know if you want him coming up with the bases loaded. Now Pettit will now go to the payoff pitch to Snyder. A breaking ball, grounded foul off third, and he's throwing him the kitchen sink.
Just a terrific at bat by Snyder, and not overstriding, as John said, with a big wide stance, just making contact. You know, eventually, and we've said this before, eventually the more pitches the pitcher throws, the more the percentages go in the batter's favor. A terrific at bat by Chris Snyder.
Well, it sure is. He's wearing Andy out. Once again, it'll be a 3-2. Inside ball 4. So the bases are loaded, and here comes the pitcher, Dan Herron. Herron on the year is 17 for 40 with no homers and 4 RBIs. That's quite a batting average. 17 for 40 for anyone. For Albert Pujols, that's great.
And that translates to 425. 17 for 40. Meanwhile, his pitch count has really gone up. Andy's at 37 pitches, and at least 10 of them were thrown to Chris Snyder.
You know, I don't know how many he threw to him, but that would be my guess, too. At least 10 pitches. At least. So the bases are loaded with 2 out. Herron bats him like he throws him right-handed. And Andy deals strike as a fastball at the knees on the outside corner. Now with 2 outs after the pickoff, a walk, a double, and a walk. There's the 0-1. Swung on, a fly ball down the right field line, twisting foul. And the count 0-2. When a right-hand hitter hits the ball down the right field line, it will twist, or slice, really is the word. It kind of twists, and you knew, even though it started out fair, that it would land foul, unless it was a bullet, where it doesn't have time to slice or hook. But that went foul by a few feet. So the count 0-2. And Andy's 0-2. Hit on the ground, fair, over first for a base hit. 2 runs will score. Snyder goes to third. It is a 2-run single for Dan Herron, and the ball game is tied at 2. Herron reached out. His backside went toward the third base dugout, and he took a little swing and hit a ground ball between Teixeira and the bag. A 2-run single. We're tied at 2.
Now, Mike Harkey's going out to talk to Pettit. He looks very uncomfortable on that mound, and they're looking at the dirt there. There's something wrong out there. Let me tell you about Danny Herron, though, and why he's such a good hitter. His dad, he's the one who grew up in Washington Heights, and when they moved to California, when Danny was a kid, his father was a coach and a father also, who really pushed him hard. And before games that he played, he would take his son over to the park for extra batting practice, saying, one of these days you're going to thank me for this. And Dan always said, it's kind of funny because I became a pitcher. But he really became a hitter because of that all through those years. And then he hit a course in college and has continued it.
Well, he has 6 RBIs on the year. We're tied at 2. Here's Kelly Johnson, and he fouls the pitch back. Johnson fly to right his first time. Well, 2-out rallies killed the Yankees last night, and they just killed them again tonight. Snyder, the lead run at third, Herron at first. And it'll be an 0-1 inside. And the count 1-1. Now, Andy's 1-1. Swung on, hit in the air to center. Grandison right there makes the catch to end the inning. But with 2 outs and no one on, the D-backs rally to tie. Walk, double, walk, single for 2 runs by Herron. 2 runs, 3 hits, 2 left. And now, at the end of 2 innings of play, we're tied at 2 on the Yanks radio network, driven by Jeep.
Yankee fans, welcome to the Little Innings.
This game is brought to you by your Tri-State Ford dealer, where you can check out the 2010 Ford Edge, America's favorite crossover, and a great way to improve your road trips. Ford, drive one home today.
Now to the third. We are tied at 2. And Andy Pettit will lead off for the Yanks. Pettit bats him like he throws him, left-handed. And the pitch is high on the count, 1-0. I don't have any idea if Pettit's going to get a hit and if the Yankees even want him to get a hit. No, 1-0. Strike, if you're wondering about that. We have seen pitchers get hurt running the bases. But don't forget, Andy had that big hit in the World Series last year. Hit a full fly ball single to left center and drove in a run. Here is the 1-1 from Herron. There is a strike and the count 1-2.
Last year, after Scott Downs got hurt in Interleague, Cito Gaston instructed his pitchers to go up there and not move the bat. Don't swing, don't do anything.
The 1-2 breaking ball, strike 3. Well, we laugh about it, but Chin-Ming Wong's career has been derailed because of a base running accident in Houston. Well, it's time for the Subway Wake Up Call Trivia Contest. In addition to the 2001 World Series between the Yanks and D-backs, when were the only other 2 World Series where the home team won all 7 games? Call 1-877-987-WCBS, and the first caller with the correct answer will win a $25 Subway card. WCBS will announce the winner tomorrow morning between 6 and 9. Here's Jeter, and there's a strike on the outside corner at the knees. Herron is working on a string, 4 straight strikeouts. Posada, Grandison, Gardner, and Pettit. The 0-1 to Jeter. Breaking ball strike, and the count 0-2.
And Herron, after that shaky first inning, as John just said, struck out the next 4. Great breaking pitch right over the middle of the plate.
Jeter singled to center his first time and scored ahead of A-Rod's 2-run homer. Pitch is low. And the count 1-2 on Jeter. That was Herron's splitter. The 1-2 is hit foul down the right field line and back in the crowd. They had an enormous crowd here. They average, let's say, 23,500, and they had a crowd of 47,700, something like that. It was not a sellout, but near a sellout. The place holds 48-something. They got a big crowd tonight.
Largest crowd since opening day, I was told.
The 1-2. Swung on, hit in the air to center. Going back is Young to make the catch. In deep right center, and there are 2 away. Well, it's kind of funny. Susan and I kid about this all the time. You see these teams, trying to sell their fans. Knock the Yankees, evil empire and how much money. And well, I don't mind when the Yankees come to town. Then they can make money.
They can indeed, and they'll have another big crowd tomorrow. And one of the guys, and when I went to interview Ian Kennedy today in the Diamondbacks clubhouse, and I was talking to some of the guys, and
here is Nick Swisher with 2 outs. And the pitch is foul, third base out of play.
And we were kidding because they just have a terrible record and they lead everything in errors. And, they're 13 games out. They've already got 43 losses. And we would bring that up in series.
Here's the 0-1. Pitch is low. I believe that.
They play in front of half a house all the time. They lose day after day after day, and the Yankees come in and they bring their fans, and there's 48,000 people in the park, and this is their World Series.
The 1-1 inside to Swisher, 2-1. Yeah, it pumps them up because
they get to show it's better competition, is what somebody had said to me. There's a lot of talent on this team. Maybe not in the bullpen, but there's a lot of talent on this team.
The 2-1 outside. And the count 3-1 on Swisher. Teixeira on deck.
And if you looked at last night's game and then look at their record, you say to Arizona people, they should be better than this. And the reaction is, yes, they should.
There's the 3-1. Line hard down the right field line, foul. Went right near the Yankee bullpen, which runs from foul to fair territory. Then back at the foul pole. The 2 bullpens are tucked behind the foul poles. Call be a 3-2 to Swisher with 2 outs and no one on. And here is the payoff. Swung on and lined toward the gap in right center, and it's a base hit. Young fields, throws in, so Swisher is on with a hard single to right center. Here's Teixeira. Well, you know, Susan, whether you basketball, football, hockey, baseball, whatever, basically you're an entertainer. And who wants to entertain in a half house? You want sold out crowds, and it does rev you up.
Right. And most players will tell you, and I remember this in basketball when the Nets wouldn't draw their own fans, but it would always have big houses when the Knicks, Celtics, and Lakers came in.
Pitch. Line is a base hit to right by Teixeira. Swisher goes around second but holds on. So Teixeira rips a bullet between first and second. Swisher safe at second, Teixeira safe at first, and your family can be safe and secure with a gift of financial protection from New York Life Insurance Company. 165 years of experience helps ensure your loved ones will always be taken care of. New York Life, the company you keep.
There's something very funny going on here. This place is jammed with Yankee fans, and the Arizona fans are trying to boo over them, and then the clapping gets louder, and then the booing gets louder. So you might discern from that Alex is up.
The pitch to A-Rod, fastball high. A-Rod drove one in the left center field seats, and if you remember the 2001 series, he hit it right about where Soriano hit that home run in the 8th inning off Schilling to give the Yankees then a 2-1 lead. 2 on, 2 out, tied at 2. We're in the top of the third. And here's the 1-0. Foul, first base out of play, and the count 1-1.
So to finish our thought, when we're talking about playing before nobody in the stands, I've had players in every sport say to me, I don't care who they root for as long as they're there.
I'd agree with that. I've been with losing franchises who didn't draw. And, you mentioned about when the Nets would draw against big teams. And there's the 1-1 outside. You would only draw when you're one of those teams. And I was with the Bullets 1,000 years ago. But, yeah, they'd only draw like when Chamberlain came in or Boston came in. The Lakers came in. The problem is then they'd lose by 30. So, yeah, they're playing the best teams, and then they get killed. It'll be a 2-1 to A-Rod. Pitch line like a bullet, base hit center field. Swisher rounds third, and he'll score. The throw goes to third. It's a base hit, and an RBI for A-Rod, and the Yankees take a 3-2 lead. And you can sense that the Yankees in the dugout are saying, all right, here it comes. Here comes the big guy.
And you really can. He hit that right on the nose. And that was a breaking pitch in the middle of the plate, but it broke down right around the waist, and A-Rod was waiting for it. He knew exactly what to expect, got the barrel of the bat on, and laced it into center field.
So 3 hard hits in a row. Swisher, Teixeira, A-Rod. Here is the Yankees' best hitter, Robbie Cano. Well, the Yankees take a 3-2 lead. Teixeira at second, A-Rod at first, 2-out pitch. There's a strike to Robbie.
John, you could almost sense it last night with Alex when you watched the at-bats. He was almost there. You could see it. You could see he was really close.
Well, I mentioned that to Girardi, I guess, when we shut off the tape machine. I'll tell you what A-Rod did last night for those who didn't hear the game pitch. Caught out a miss on a splitter. And the count 0-2. A-Rod drove a long line drive to the right center field wall for a double. Then he hit one even further that I thought was going out, and Young went back and made a terrific catch right at the fence. But, you know, when A-Rod is hitting the ball like that to right center, you know that he has control of his swing. Pitch to Cano is in the dirt, another splitter. And the count 1-2 to Robbie. Now, you know, in baseball, it doesn't happen. Okay, now he's ready. Now he's going to get 20 hits in the next 20 times at bat. It doesn't work that way. But the Yankees need him and Teixeira to hit and hit with power. Now the pitch to Cano way inside, almost hit him. And the count 2-2.
Join the CBS Radio family Saturday, June 26th for the CBS Radio Expo at Yankee Stadium Family Festival featuring games, music, and sports star Eddie Money, Macy Gray, Greg Nettles, Harry Carson, Carl Banks. CBS Radio Expo Saturday, June 26th, $5. Info, visit cbsradioexpo.com.
The pitch hit high in the air to center in the ballpark. Young back, he's there, makes the catch to end the inning. So the Yankees stage a little 2-out rally of their own. You know, all the runs in this game have been scored with 2 outs. 3 singles net the Yankees a run. 1 run, 3 hits, 2 left at the end of 2.5. It's 3-2 Yanks on the New York Yankees radio network, driven by Jeep. Sterling Susan Wallman back at Chase Field in Phoenix. Yanks have a 3-2 lead, bottom of the third. Right-handed in Cole Gillespie. Takes a pitch low from Andy. And here's the 1-0. That's a fastball strike. Gillespie struck out his first time. And Pettit's 1-1. Grounded foul outside of third. So the count 1-2. If there was one good thing, and look, this is really stretching a point, that came out of last night's game, one teensy-weensy good thing. Pitch to Gillespie is foul, first base side out of play. Now the Yankees obviously didn't have to use the big men in their bullpen. No, tonight, if they have a lead late, you're going to see the best they have. Robertson and Marte in front of Chamberlain and Mariano. Mariano, by the way, has retired 21 straight batters. The 1-2 is grounded to short. Jeter fields fire. Derek does that so great, coming in on those weak ground balls and throwing off balance.
And he had to make a really strong throw. Gillespie's got some speed for a big guy. He's 6'1", 205. Real hitter, but he really got down that line in a hurry.
So we'll have to tell Mariano if he has 2 more outings where he retires them 1-2-3. 1-2-3, he'll pitch the perfect game.
Right.
One away, here's Stephen Drew, a left-hand hitter. And the pitch, pop foul out of play. When Robbie Cano flies out to center field to end the top of the third. That was the 15th out, and a 15-minute call after the game could save you 15% or more on your car insurance. Call 1-8. Pettit's fastball in on the outside corner for a strike, and the count 0-2 on Drew. And
speaking of Mariano, John, Arizona writers talking about the 2001 World Series.
The 0-2 struck him out swinging on a cutter away.
on and on and on for 2 days. And I walked in today. I came in from the field after I was talking to some of the players. I walk in, and there's Mariano going over that inning again 9 years ago, as patient and as calm as he is, going through the whole thing again. It's really something. All the four of them have gotten this for 2 days.
Now, Justin Upton takes a breaking ball low. I mean, they are reliving this after 9 years.
Well, you heard me on the talk show I was on. I went over the whole thing. They kept talking. They talked about Game 6, Game 7.
How about Games 4 and 5?
Well,
it'll be a 1-0 to Upton, who singled to deep short his first time. Breaking ball strike, backdoor breaking ball. And the count 1-1.
And tomorrow, by the way, Jeter and I were talking about this. Tomorrow, by the way, the Los Angeles writers arrive because there's an off day, and they're going to talk about Joe Torre.
Really? At least that's a little more current. The 1-1, Upton swings and misses, and the count 1-2.
I don't know. I think it's kind of funny.
I do
just think it's funny.
Now Pettit with 2 outs, no one on, ahead of Upton. 1-2, righty hitter with power and speed. Now Andy deals this a little low. And then the count 2-2 on Upton.
Now, Upton, I was talking to Java Chamberlain about Upton. The 2007 Futures game that they play in the All-Star game, which most people don't watch, but a lot of people do, they were all on the same team.
The 2-2. A little tapper towards second. Cano hustles to field and throws to first. In time. We'll have more on the Futures game from Susan when we hit the top of the fourth. 1-2-3 go the Diamondbacks at the end of 3. It's 3-2 Yanks on the New York Yankees radio network, driven by Jeep. Lightspeed. Now we go to the fourth, and Jorge Posada leads off for the Yanks. Struck out his first time. Head to Wendy's for the new $2.99 barbecue bacon deluxe value meals, topped with applewood smoked bacon and barbecue sauce. With fries and a drink, just $2.99 each. Now here's Georgie to lead it off. And Herron deals. There's a strike, a breaking ball strike. It'll be Posada, Grandison, and Gardner. Here's the 0-1. Another breaking ball strike. And those three hitters have something in common. They all struck out against Herron in the second inning. 3-2 Yanks, top of the fourth. And the 0-2 is inside, and the count 1-2.
Joe Girardi said that Posada probably will not catch tomorrow because then he'd have 2 days before catching in L.A., and they want him to catch all 3 games.
The 1-2, swung on, hit in the air a long way to left. Back goes Gillespie, makes the catch on the track a few feet from the wall in deep left, and there's one away. And tomorrow, a left-hander is pitching, so it's a good time to catch. So Dontrell Willis is going to start, so good time to start Cervelli. And then also you have a very good hitter on the bench. The Yankees do not have a great hitting bench, so you'll have Posada to bring off. The good news is that his foot feels fine. He's catching back-to-back games. What the Yankees have to do is keep this team on the field. Here's Granderson, and the fastball is high, 1-0. Now the right-hander Herron deals, and that's a little low. The count 2-0. Pitch is swung on and hit high in the air to right. Back is Upton on the edge of the track. Now in a step or two to make the catch. And there are 2 away.
This game is brought to you by your Tri-State Ford dealer. When it comes to great cars and trucks and great value, no one beats your Tri-State Ford dealer. Ford, drive one home today.
Now, TUE, here is Gardner. Once again, I'll repeat what I said in the second inning. It's a big thing if Gardner can get on, and you get the pitcher out of the way, and you can open up the next inning with the top of the order and Jeter. Well, let's see if Gardner can do that, get on base. Herron deals. There's a breaking ball strike in the count 0-1.
Gardner and Swisher have a little ribbing going on when they look at the lineup to see who's batting second and who's down in the order. It's like a good-natured competition.
There's the 0-1. There's a strike at the knees in the count 0-2.
Who's a better number 2 hitter? And Swisher says, no, you're better down at the bottom of the order where you can run around when you get on base.
True, too.
Yes, it is true. Where you can run around.
Well, Gardner behind 0-2. And Herron deals. Caught on him. This struck him out swing on a splitter. That is strikeout number 5 for Herron. So the Yanks go down 1-2-3. And at the end of 3.5, 3-2 Yanks on the New York Yankees radio network, driven by Jeep. Satisfy your thirst with Poland Spring brand 100% natural spring water. Please remember to recycle your empty bottle. The D-backs will send up Young, LaRoche, and Reynolds, 5, 6, and 7 in their batting order. Righty, lefty, righty against Pettit. And Susan will have a scoreboard to catch you up to date. And Pettit deals. Young takes a strike.
Scoreboard update sponsored by 877 Cars for Kids. That's Cars with a K. Donate your car today at carsforkids.com.
Andy deals. Grounded foul off third. Young struck out his first time.
These are all finals. Washington beat Kansas City 4-3. Luis Atalano beat Anthony LaRue. Phillies beat Cleveland 2-1. Jamie Moyer gets the win. Mitch Talbot with the loss. Florida beat Baltimore 10-4. Anibal Sanchez beat Jeremy Guthrie.
Pettit deals a fastball high. Young checked his swing. Now the count 1-2.
Jeremy Guthrie's now 3-9. St. Louis beat Toronto 9-4. Jaime Garcia beat Brett Cecil.
The 1-2 struck him out swinging. Better threw a fastball and blew it by him up and in. So that is the fourth strikeout for Andrew. One away. Here's Adam LaRoche, who walked and later scored one of the 2 Diamondback runs in the second inning.
San Diego beat Tampa Bay 2-1. Matt Latos gets the win. Wade Davis takes the loss. It's now 14-6 Mets over Detroit. They are in the bottom of the 6th.
Line drive. Great catch, Cano. Rob LaRoche of a hit. Cano took a couple of quick steps and reached as far as he could on the backhand and made a glittering grab to rob LaRoche not only of a base hit, but that might have gone in the gap. It was really hit. They might have robbed him of a double 2-way.
Texas leading the Pirates 6-3, top of the 9th in Texas. 3 homers for Texas: Michael Young, Julio Bourbon, and Josh Hamilton. White Sox leading Atlanta 9-6, bottom of the 9th in Chicago.
Breaking ball strike to Mark Reynolds. Josh Hamilton is really hot.
He's really turned it on.
Yeah.
Must be in the top of the 9th in Chicago.
Now here's the 0-1 to Reynolds. Man, that pitch in the dirt. The count 1-1.
Milwaukee leading the Twins 7-3, top of the 8th there at Miller Park. Colorado leading Boston 1-0. They're in the bottom of the 7th in Colorado. John Lester against Jhoulys Chacin. Dodgers and Angels, no score, top of the 3rd in Anaheim.
Pitch is high in the count 2-1. 2 outs, no one on. Bottom of the 4th, 3-2 Yanks.
Cincinnati is leading Oakland 3-0, bottom of the 3rd in Oakland. Seattle leading Chicago 2-0, bottom of the 3rd in Seattle.
The pitch is low to Reynolds. So here's a 3-1 damage pitch, and this guy can do some damage. The 3-1 swung on a high pop off first to Shera to the stands, and it's in the stands. Now the count goes to 3-2.
And one final intra-league, San Francisco beat Houston 3-1. Tim Lincecum beats Roy Oswalt.
Oswalt pitching great and losing all the time. It must be driving him crazy. Houston is not a very good hitting team. Here's a 3-2 from Pettit. Foul back. You know, every year there seems to be a team that just catches fire in interleague. And I think the team this year is the White Sox. Look up on the board, they've won again. And the White Sox have gotten back to 500. They've won 9 out of 10, 6 straight, and now 7 straight. 10 out of 11. Pitch. Strike. 3 is called. And I think they've done it all interleague. So Reynolds takes a call, third strike. Pettit's 5th strikeout. 1-2-3 go the D-backs at the end of 4, 3-2 Yanks. On the New York Yankees radio network, driven by Jeep.
WCBS, New York.
Now to the 5th, and Andy Pettit leads off for the Yanks. Andy struck out his first time. And the right-hander Herron deals, and the pitch cut on and missed. The Yankees have the 3-2 lead thanks to Alex Rodriguez. A 2-run home run in the first and a ribby single in the third. Herron's 0-1. Breaking ball strike 0-2. Boston, Colorado goes to the top of the 8th. And the Red Sox trail 1-0, batting top of the 8th. Here's the 0-2 to Pettit. It's low on the count, 1-2.
Who is the closer for Colorado now that Street's been out?
I don't know. Well, we'll find out tonight.
Yes, we will.
I guess. There's the 1-2. Foul back. I gather Heath Bell came in. I'm just guessing. Either Latos went all the way, or I guess Heath Bell came in the 9th. Anyway, San Diego beat Tampa 2-1 at Tropicana. Herron's 1-2 is outside. Every time I say Tropicana, I think of Ricky Ricardo. Lucy's husband character, Desi Arnaz, of course. And I Love Lucy, which is still being seen around the world.
And will always be seen around the world. The
2-2. Grounded up the middle. How do you like that? It's a base hit to center field. And I don't know if the Yankees are happy or sad. Mick Kelleher goes over to Andy and probably says to him, hey, listen, big fella, please don't do nothing wrong on the base paths.
And he's saying, I played 3 years in Houston. I know how to run the bases. I don't like it. It wasn't exactly hit flush on the bat, but did the job. He hit it into the ground and it bounced through. CeCe and Phil Hughes were applauding. Javi Vasquez stood up and applauded. He's standing up at the railing applauding.
Andy, by the way, went down and got a breaking ball. Did kind of a nice job. Here's Jeter. And there's a strike on the inside corner. Jeter did not like that call. Just body language. And just could tell how he walked away from the plate. Herron does throw that sinker, that nasty sinker, and that was that. There's the 0-1. Foul down the right field line, out of play, and the count 0-2.
John, look at the backdrop they've got now. They've had a new one for the second day. That's Yankee Stadium.
And that's the new Yankee Stadium.
Yes.
Yeah, very nice.
Doing a good job here.
They put the hitter's picture up, and with the Yankees, they've been using different New York scenes. Statue of Liberty and Central Park and Times Square. Very nice. That'll be an 0-2 to Jeter. And the pitch caught on a miss. Strung him out swing on a breaking ball away. So, one away. Let's take 10 seconds. Station ID on the New York Yankees radio network.
When the game ends at night, your radio will be set to New York's #1 choice for radio news in the morning. Stay with WCBS and WCBS FM HD3, New York.
John Sterling, Susan Waldman back at Chase Field in Phoenix. We're in the top of the fifth. The Yanks have a 3-2 lead. Pettit at first with one out. Here's Nick Swisher. You know, I called it a breaking ball, and I saw the pitch again on replay, and I think that was his cutter, which really moves the pitch a strike. There's not a whole lot of difference between a cutter and slider. Slider probably breaks more. But you know what? His cutter broke enough. That went way away from Jeter. Swisher 1 for 2. And the pitch outside. And the count 1-1. If Pettit runs, they'd like Swisher to hit the ball out so he doesn't have to run very hard. The pitch outside, the count 2-1. Introducing best-in-class Jaguar Platinum coverage on all 2011 Jaguar cars. 5-year, 50,000-mile warranty and complimentary scheduled maintenance. Visit TriStateJaguar.com. Pitch is hit high in the air down the right field line, and it's in the crowd. So visit TriStateJaguar.com or your Tri-State area Jaguar dealer. Well, Colorado got the Red Sox out in the 8th, so they go to the bottom of the 8th. 1-0 Rockies. Tampa has lost. The Yanks have a 3-2 lead here in the 5th. And Herron deals up high. And so the count 3-2. And no, they're not going to run Pettit. And if they do, boy, would I be surprised.
Well, Carlos had just told me that Houston Street was activated from the DL today. I would doubt he'd be closing, though. It's been out a long time. The
payoff is pop foul out of play, third base side.
And somebody's been closing and doing a pretty good job today. I wish I could remember who it was.
Yeah, and they are doing very well, and they're playing without Tulowitzki. Although they say Tulowitzki will be back, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Kind of a hairline fracture, I guess. Now here's the payoff to Swisher. Grounded foul off third. Colorado is one of the great races. San Diego leads the Giants 1.5. The Dodgers 2. Colorado by 4. A 4-team race. A lot of teams are in division races this year. Very good for baseball. Now the right-hander Herron deals 3-2. Swung on and popped up to shallow right. The second baseman is out. And Kelly Johnson makes the catch. And there are 2 away. And here comes Teixeira.
Voting is now open for the 2010 All-Star Game in Anaheim. Help send your favorite Yankees to the Midsummer Classic by voting up to 25 times at Yankees.com.
Teixeira fly to left his first time, then hit a line drive single to right. Swisher had singled with 2 outs, and then A-Rod came up and singled to drive in the third run. Breaking ball is low to Teixeira. The other 2 runs came in the first inning, a single by Jeter, and after 2 outs, A-Rod hit a bombaroo in the left center field seats. The 1-0 is inside. In the second inning, Arizona had a 2-out rally. Walk, single, walk to load the bases, and Dan Herron then singled over the bag at first for the 2 Arizona runs, and that's where you are. 3-2 here in the 5th. The pitch low inside, and the count 3-0. Well, Herron doesn't really want to walk Teixeira with A-Rod coming up, but he's behind 3-0, and I know Teixeira would have the green light. If he thinks he could drive it, he ought to swing. The 3-0 strike, but on the outside corner. I'm sure he felt he couldn't drive that ball, so the count 3-1 on Mark.
And the Yankees are making Herron work, and he's up to 84 pitches. And the last thing that A.J. Hinch wants to do is get in that bullpen.
The 3-1 is hit high in the air to right center, but back is Upton to make the catch, a little in front of the track, and that ends the inning. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left. Now the end of 4.5, 3-2 Yanks on the New York Yankees radio network, driven by Jeep. In today's challenging economy, you need to work with the best when it comes to buying and selling real estate. Nobody in the world sells more real estate than RE/MAX. Visit RE/MAX.com today, your foreclosure and short sale experts. Well, we go to the 5th, and this is the Daily News 5th. It's sponsored by the Daily News, New York's hometown newspaper. We're joined in the booth by the beat writer on the Yankees for the Daily News, Mark Feinsand. Chris Snyder takes a strike. It was Snyder who had the great at-bat against Pettit. He came from 0-2 down, fouled off a bunch of pitches and finally walked, and then Harron singled in the 2 Arizona runs. Snyder, a right-hand hitter with power, and the 0-1, half swing at a breaking ball. He went. And the count 0-2. After last night's debacle, Mark, the Yankees needed a strong pitch game, and Pettit has been a terrific pitcher about every time out.
Yeah, his last 5 starts, he hasn't given up more than 2 earned runs in any of them. And, he's really been there to give them a lift when they've needed it. And following A.J. Burnett in the rotation right now, they've needed it.
And he's 0-2 to Snyder, the fastball outside, 1-2.
Well, let's go to, as long as you brought up A.J. Burnett, let's talk about that. He was very forthright last night after the game. He's a very stand-up person. What do you think is going on with A.J.?
I think this has become as much mental as it is physical for him.
The 1-2 is grounded foul off third.
You know who else says that? A.J.
Yeah, it seems like the fastball command is certainly an issue. He's leaving too many balls over the plate. They're getting hit really hard. But I think right now he's thinking about working the corners, but he's thinking too much. And we've seen this for years. When a player out there is thinking about his mechanics, it never ends up well for him.
There's the 1-2. A half swing at a breaking ball. Did he go? No. They asked first base umpire James Hoy. He finally said no. It's the count 2-2. Now, I'll tell you what that is. You're right, by the way. That is letting the ball go and not trying to guide it. And I don't care if you're serving in tennis or putting in golf. Here is the 2-2 to Snyder. A breaking ball is popped high toward first. Teixeira makes the catch deep behind first, 1 away. And really, it's a problem when you just don't let it go. I'm sorry, he's been a great pitcher. He's pitched in both leagues over the years, and he's got to let it go. You've heard of, people, when they're too far open on jump shots, they think themselves out of the shot.
Well, and I thought it was interesting that he said he's actually struggled more with his command out of the windup than the stretch. Because in the windup, nobody on base, you figure that's the time where a guy can just let it go and not worry about what else is going on the field.
Here's the pitch of Dan Harron, and the breaking ball is in for a strike.
But I think when you look at Burnett right now, sort of the way that Joe Girardi kept saying, Mark Teixeira hasn't forgotten how to hit all of a sudden, and same with Alex Rodriguez. Burnett hasn't forgotten how to pitch. He was 6-2 with a 3.28 ERA on June 1st. So it's been a bad 3 weeks for him.
The 0-1 to Harron, swung on in line foul, first base side. Now the count 0-2. And Teixeira now moves back toward the first base line, which is what he should do. Harron takes a half swing. Harron's base hit to score 2 runs. It was just a ground ball over first, but Teixeira wasn't anywhere near there. So he moves toward the line, and it'll be an 0-2 to Harron from Pettit. Pitch is low, 1-2.
You know what I think is interesting? Burnett's four-start stretch here. He's 0-4 with an ERA over 10. This is actually a worse stretch than we saw from Javier Vazquez in April. And there's no thought of skipping Burnett right now because they can't.
Pitch. Grounder up the middle. There's a base hit for Harron. So Dan Harron is 2 for 2 and is now 19 for 42 on the year, approaching 500. So there's the tying run with 1 out. And here's the left-hand hitting second baseman, Kelly Johnson.
With what they're doing with Phil Hughes right now, skipping his start to keep the innings limit down, they really can't afford to give Burnett a start off. And Joe Girardi said, well, Vazquez had struggled a little longer than Burnett. It's really not true. He had only made 5 starts when they sat him down and let him work out the kinks. But right now they're not going to do that with Burnett. He'll be out there on Saturday.
Kelly Johnson has fly to right and center. Pitch, cut out, missed on a breaking ball, 0-1.
You know, Mark, I know there's nothing anybody can do about this, but it started coming up the last couple of days anyway. All this talk about Dave Island taking this leave of absence, and does that have anything to do with AJ?
Pettit deals, cut out, missed another breaking ball.
Now, my contention is that A.J. Burnett's been in the big leagues for over 10 years. He's had a lot of different pitching coaches, and you know, Dave Island isn't the only pitching coach in this world. I mean, he's a wonderful one, but I don't buy that at all.
And Pettit holds the set and deals, cut out, missed, struck him out, swing. That was a cutter away. You know, I agree with Susan, and what I told Joe Girardi on the manager show, in that dugout, you have yourself, an ex-catcher. You have Tony Pena, an all-star catcher. You have Mike Harkey, an ex-pitcher and pitching. They know the game of pitching.
They know the game of pitching, but nobody knows Burnett's delivery, his mechanics, his mindset, his mental game more than Dave Island on this team. He's the guy who, when these guys are struggling, pores over the video of them and looks for little things.
Well, I'm not saying there isn't something to it.
I don't think you can blame all of A.J. Burnett's struggles right now on him. He's the one throwing the pitches. He's been around for 10, 12 years. He knows what he has to do. But I think missing Island would be a key figure in helping him figure out what is wrong, and he's not here.
Here is Gillespie, and he hits a ground ball to second, and past Cano's dive. A base hit to right. A hot shot by Gillespie. Swisher throws in. Herron stops at second. So, the Diamondbacks have first and second, 2 out. And here's a left-hand hitter, the shortstop, Stephen Drew, with a tying run at second and the go-ahead run at first.
All right, to another subject, Mark. Alex Rodriguez with the homer tonight, and last night he seemed like he was getting closer to being Alex Rodriguez. Are you seeing something in his swing the last couple of days particularly?
Well, I think as he gets healthier, his swing looks more like his regular swing does.
Lefty to lefty, pitch to Drew, outside 1-0.
He seems to be getting more confident using his lower body, that the hip flexor is not going to be as much of an issue. 3 home runs at his last 100 at-bats. Those 100 at-bats have not all been since the hip flexor injury, though. The power just hasn't been there this year, and obviously he's not thinking about home runs because the rest of his numbers have been okay, but this is the latest he's ever hit his 9th home run in a healthy season. So, he said last night he's confident at the end of the season his numbers will be where they always are, but that's going to take a monster second half.
That'd be good for the Yankees, both Teixeira and A-Rod. The 1-0 to Drew is grounded weakly foul outside of third, right at the end of the bat. And the count 1-1. In other words, if they're going to hit like the back of their bubblegum cards, think of all the production the Yanks should get in July, August, and September.
Well, that's absolutely right. The other thing you have to think about with Alex, he's at 592 home runs right now, and as he creeps towards 600, that's going to be in his head too. We've seen that with his 400th and his 500th home runs, and as he approached guys on the home run list, that stuff does get into his head.
The 1-1 breaking ball low. It'll be a 2-1 coming up to Drew, with Herron at second and Cole Gillespie at first, and 2 men out here in the bottom of the 5th. The Yanks have a 3-2 lead, but the tying and lead runs are on, and Pettit deals low, and the count is 3-1.
You know, we haven't talked about a lot, and I know he was out for a month, but if you want to talk about the back of a bubblegum card, Curtis Granderson's hitting .230, and he's got 6 home runs, and this is a guy who hit 30 home runs last year.
Right, the home runs are probably more of an issue than the average. You look at 249 last year, 230, 235. It's not all that far off from where he was last year, but he did miss a month, 6 home runs right now, and he's just not producing the way the Yankees were hoping or expecting him to produce.
It'll be a 3-1. Swung on and chopped to first. Teixeira fields, steps on the bag, and that ends the inning. One quick thing, Mark. It's just funny about how much we expect from the Yankees, how much Yankee fans and media. Because all these things are wrong with the Yankees. They have the best record in the major leagues.
That's absolutely right.
In the inning, thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
In the inning, no runs, 2 hits, 2 left. And at the end of 5 innings of play, 3-2 Yanks on the New York Yankees radio network, driven by Jeep.
WCBS News.
Now we go to the 6th. And Alex Rodriguez, who has personally driven in all 3 Yankee runs, a 2-run home run in the first, a ribby single in the third, a home run to deep left center, and the RBI single, a line drive to center. Dan Herron deals, and the breaking ball low to A-Rod, 1-0. Alex swings, and I miss another breaking ball. Let's see. Oh, Herron's up to 88 pitches as we hit the 6th. You know, Susan made a very good point. It probably was glossed over, the 1-1. Caught on him. It's another breaking ball. And she said that Arizona, probably does not want to go to the bullpen. They want to get as much as they can out of Herron because their bullpen has been just horrendous. And it's cost him a lot of games. So Herron here in a 3-2 game. So if he can go a few more pitches than normal, they'll probably let him. The 1-2. Tapper is foul outside of first.
And that also, John, if you talk to the Diamondbacks people, that's been a big problem here because they know because the bullpen has struggled. Their ERA is 7.5 or something like that. Just the bullpen. Because they know that's happened, starting pitchers are pitching longer than they should. So they get hit because they're pitching an inning or so or 2 innings more than they should because A.J. Hinch is afraid to go to this bullpen.
1-2. He struck him out swinging one away. That was Herron's 90th pitch. Also his 7th strikeout. 1-0, and here is Cano. Colorado got a run in the 8th. They go to the top of the 9th, leading Boston 2-0. So it could be a very big night for the Yanks. Tampa has lost. And just think, this is June 22nd.
Oh, and then we'll do this every day for the rest of the year.
Absolutely.
Carlos, take a look and see if Manny Corpus is closing. He's done a very good job, right?
Yes. Corpus? Good arm. We pitch against the Yankees. Line by Cano to left. Deep left. It is going to be grabbed by Gillespie on the way back. Now, the Yankees, better soon, as long as they're in Arizona, borrow a page from Wee Willie Keeler's handbook, hit them where they ain't, because their drives, they're hitting them hard, but they're being run down.
And a lot of that has to do with the outfielders that they've got. And you have to have a good outfield here. They've got young, strong, fast outfielders playing in all positions. Gillespie, his bat is probably his best position, but he's a good left fielder and right fielder. All right, doesn't have the speed of Chris Young or Justin Upton, but he's pretty good.
Well, TUE, here is Posada. With 2 outs, no one on. Georgie, a switch hitter, batting left against Herron. And the pitch swung on, a high fly to center. Back is Young in deep dead center, makes the catch. And that's a great inning for Herron because I don't think Herron threw 6 pitches in that inning. Now 1, 2, 3 go the Yanks quickly. And now at the end of 5.5, it's 3-2 Yanks on the New York Yankees radio network, driven by Jeep. Lightspeed. Jaguar dealer or TriStateJaguar.com. Now to the bottom of the 6th. Andy is at 88 pitches. And he faces 4, 5, and 6. And here's the cleanup hitter, Justin Upton, a right-hand hitter. And the Yankees clinging to a 3-2 lead, and Pettit deals. Got on him, missed on a cutter in.
Scoreboard update sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more in car insurance. Call Geico at 1-800-947-AUTO or visit geico.com.
Here is Pettit's 0-1. And the fastball is outside. The count 1-1.
These are all finals. Washington has beaten Kansas City 4-3. It was the Phillies over Cleveland 2-1. Florida over Baltimore 10-4 the final there. St. Louis defeated Toronto 9-4.
Here's the 1-1 from Andy, and it's inside. And the count 2-1.
San Diego hung on and beat Tampa Bay 2-1. Other finals, Texas beat the Pirates 6-3. It was the White Sox over Atlanta 9-6.
The pitch to Upton is grounded weakly to third. A-Rod hustles, fields, fires. No, safe. Good play by A-Rod, but he was beaten by the great speed of Justin Upton. And A-Rod did his best. It was a weak little ground ball. He ran in, fielded, fired. And Upton beat the throw. Just beat it, but beat it he did.
And I'll tell you, John, what you like about that play, Alex made no hesitation at all. He thought he could get that, and he really moved great, because I've been watching with that hit, because in some direction it doesn't move as well. He came in perfectly on that, and Justin's just too fast.
Now here's Chris Young, who struck out twice. So Upton is the tying run. Now Upton has already been picked off by Pettit, so let's see how big a lead he takes.
They're in the top of the ninth at Citi Field. Mets leading Detroit 14-6.
Pettit throws to first. Upton is back.
Milwaukee leading the Twins 7-5, top of the ninth in Milwaukee. Colorado is leading Boston 2-0. They go to the top of the ninth at Coors Field. Dodgers leading the Angels 3-0. Matt Kemp, his 12th homer. They are in the bottom of the fourth in Anaheim.
Now Pettit holds the set and deals the pitch low. Now on that pitch, Upton was heading back to first. On the count 1-0 on Young.
Cincinnati leading Oakland 4-2, bottom of the fifth. They're in Oakland. Seattle leading Chicago 2-0, top of the sixth. They are in Chicago. They are in Seattle. And a final, San Francisco beat Houston 3-1.
Andy deals, swung on a high pop around second. Cano between first and second makes the catch. And there is one away. And with one down, here is the left-hand hitting first baseman, Adam LaRoche.
Well, earlier I started talking about that Futures game in 2007 where Justin Upton and Java Chamberlain became friends. And these are some of the names. These are the kids. So when you think back, Clay Buchholz, Java Chamberlain, Jeff Neiman, Matt Garza, Evan Longoria, Jay Bruce, Jacoby Ellsbury, Cameron Maybin, and Justin Upton. And there are a lot more, but these are flat-out stars already.
Well, you'd love to have all those guys on your team.
Yes.
Wow, what a franchise that'd be. 1-on, 1-out, and the pitch to LaRoche is low in the count 1-0. LaRoche has walked and then hit a bullet headed for right center, and Cano made a tremendous catch. So Upton is the tying run, LaRoche the go-ahead run, 3-2 Yankees, bottom of the sixth, 1-on, 1-out. And Pettit deals inside. And the count 2-0 on LaRoche. LaRoche has a lot of power. He has 10 home runs and 45 RBIs on the year. Boston making it interesting. They scored a run. They're still batting, obviously. If they weren't batting, the game would be over. Colorado has a 2-1 lead. Boston batting top of the ninth. Now Upton inches off first and draws a throw from Pettit. Again, Upton was picked off by, he was going, and he got picked off by Pettit in the second inning. And Andy deals, swung on, a fly ball to left center. Gardner is there in left center, makes the catch. Upton hurries back to first, and there are two away.
You know, when you just said that the Red Sox scored a run in the top of the ninth, I had looked up and they hadn't put the one up yet, and I said to myself, this is a very long top of the ninth because there's no details. They just have it's like the old days where you used to see the scoreboard and what you'd say is, that's a long inning in Detroit.
Yeah, and you know, Tampa Bay did that too. San Diego had same thing. Had a 2-0 lead, and Tampa Bay scored a run in the ninth, and that's all. And the Padres hung on for the win. Now here's Mark Reynolds, very dangerous righty hitter. Pettit holds the set and deals, and the breaking ball's outside. Reynolds has doubled and struck out. Does he strike out a lot? Boy, does he. More than any other hitter in baseball. But he has just enormous power. You make a mistake, he's going to hit it out. I'd say he's like a right-hand equivalent of Russell Branyan, who homered tonight for Cleveland. The pitch swung on, a high fly to right in the ballpark. Swisher moving toward the line underneath, makes the catch to end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. Now the end of 6. 3-2 Yanks on the New York Yankees radio network, driven by Jeep.
Alicia, final question. Through Con Edison's energy efficiency program, which can you get? A solar-powered...
And takes a strike. Now, I don't know if this means they'll hit for Pettit, but the Yankee bullpen is beginning. It's tough to see. They're tucked in back of the screen down the right field line. Pitch caught on him. It's the count 0-2. Colorado hung on. They beat Boston 2-1. So both Tampa and Boston lost by 2-1 scores. So let's face it, this would be a big Yankee win if they could get it. They lead 3-2. The 0-2 is low in the count 1-2.
Well, I see Damaso Marte warming up.
The pitch to Curtis is inside. Herron is approaching 100 pitches. He's 4 away. But as I mentioned, they probably let him go for a while. The 2-2 is grounded foul. The Yankees can put a lot of people on base in the inning because they really don't feel very confident in their bullpen. Now Marte warming for the Yankees. Let's look over at the Diamondbacks. Snyder, a right-hand hitter. Herron, a right-hand hitter. So maybe for the top of the order. The pitch swung on and hit in the air to shallow left center. Out goes Drew. The shortstop makes the catch, and shallow left center, 1 away.
And hit off the fist, and he was jamming Curtis Granderson inside, and he was all tied up inside.
So 1 away, and here's Brett Gardner. The Yankees lead 3-2 for 2 reasons. The pitching of Andy Pettit and the hitting of Alex Rodriguez. A-Rod, a 2-run home run and an RBI single, has accounted for all 3 Yankee runs, and Pettit in 6 innings has given up 2 runs and 6 hits. Gardner takes a strike. Well, the Yankees are back in business. Get exactly what your business needs from Time Warner Cable Business Class. Customized solutions for your business. Visit them at twcbc.com. Pitch is grounded foul in the count 0-2.
And to keep you informed, just so you know, the superimposed picture in back of Brett Gardner in this inning and Curtis Granderson is the Chrysler Building. You know, everybody complains about the Yankees. They've gone to a lot of trouble here. They really have. They're all excited. The building is sold out.
Here's the 0-2. Pitch high. And the count 1-2. Gardner has been up twice and struck out twice. Herron has struck out 7. And as is his wont, has not walked a batter. The 1-2. Inside the count 2-2.
Now the Let's Go Yankee cheers are starting, and you'll hear boos very shortly. You know, he's at 102 pitches, and there's not a soul moving in that bullpen.
Not even a mouse.
Not even. Not a creature stirring. That's funny.
There's the 2-2 to Gardner. Got on and foul tip. He stays alive. If Gardner could get on, then I would say he almost has to run. By the way, Andy Pettitte comes out on deck. That doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean they couldn't pinch hit for him. Now the 2-2. Inside 3-2. First of all, Herron doesn't walk anyone. He averages about 2 walks a game. Here's the payoff pitch. And the pitch is inside. He finally walked a batter. And I'm sorry. I don't care how far Gardner gets thrown out. They've got to let him run. Now, Pettitte is going to come up, and you can say, well, they can bunt him over, which is true. It would be the second out, so you'd have one shot out with Jeter, but I'd like to see Gardner run myself. Pettitte has struck out and singled. That is the first walk-off Herron.
And as soon as he walked Gardner, Esmeralda Vasquez got up. Hard throwing right-hander.
Andy is squared, and the pitch, there's a strike.
Yeah, John, I'm sure they're also thinking they're probably going to need that bullpen for tomorrow. John Charles Willis has pitched. His last 2 starts, he pitched 5 innings and 4 innings going backwards, respectively.
There's the 0-1 to Pettitte, and the bunt attempt is missed. And the count 0-2. Gardner leads off first, and he probably won't go here. Throw over, because ahead of the pitcher 0-2, they can pitch out twice in a row if they want. And if you're wondering, they probably will have Andy try to bunt again with 2 strikes. He squares, and the pitch is outside, and the count 1-2. Now, Dan Herron is set at the belt. Andy squares, and he swings. The Gardner is running, and he is out at second base. Good throw by Chris Snyder. So a strike him out, throw him out, double play. And that ends the 7th inning. No runs, no hits, no one left. And now at the end of 6 1/2, 3-2 Yanks on the New York Yankees radio network, driven by Jeep.
We all have.
Check one out. In the 7th, and Pettitte deals low. That was not a bad idea by the Yankees. They played hit and run. You know, someone has to cover with Gardner stealing, so maybe Pettitte gets lucky and hits a ground ball through that slot. Snyder hits a high fly to right. Swisher going back on the track and makes the catch about 2 steps from the 376 sign in deep right center. In other words, Snyder missed hitting it out by just a few feet, one away.
Just missed it just a tiny bit. I think Swisher thought maybe it was going to go out, and he went all the way back, and it seemed to almost die out there. People standing up in that bleachers out there, I think everybody thought it was going out.
Rusty Royale is hitting for Herron, which is really odd because Herron is 2 for 2 with both RBIs and is hitting close to 500 this year. Royale, a righty hitter with power, pinch hit in last night's game, and the pitch is low in the count 1-0. Royale is 22 for 74. That's 297 with a couple of homers and 5 ribbies. And the pitch swung on and lined to left. Charging is Gardner for the catch. And very quickly, in just a few pitches, 2 away.
And this is great for Andy Pettitte. He's making good enough pitches that they're swinging at them, and those fly balls. You know, you look at the outfield play of these two teams in these two games, John, just been spectacular. A lot of fly balls hit in both of these games.
So they hit for Herron. Royale flies out, and here is the leadoff hitter, left-handed in Kelly Johnson. Pettitte's pitch count is pretty good, 103, and deals outside. I would guess this is his last inning, and if the Yankees still have the lead, you would see Chamberlain and Moe in 8 and 9. Johnson 0 for 3, a lefty hitter with power, and the pitch inside. Johnson has 13 home runs on the year.
In-game box score sponsored by McGladrey. Accounting, tax, and business consulting. Power comes from being understood. For the Yankees, 3 runs on 6 hits, no errors, 3 left. For the Diamondbacks, 2 runs on 6 hits, no errors. They have left 5.
There's the 2-0. Caught on a miss. And our monitor, yes monitor, catches Mike Harkey, the acting pitching coach, on the phone to the bullpen. There'll be a 2-1 to Johnson, and the pitch hit on the ground toward the hole through to right field. It's a base hit. So Johnson yanks a ground ball in the first base hole. He is the tying run. Here is right-hand hitting Cole Gillespie.
Now, because it's the 7th inning, both Marte and Robertson are up, and that's what Joe Girardi has done pretty consistently. Robertson and Marte mix and match in the 7th inning. The 8th inning belongs to Java, and then, of course, 9th inning belongs to only Mariano. But he's done this pretty consistently, and as you get through the season, you really want your pitchers to know their roles, and he's working this out so that as the season goes on, you know exactly what to do.
Gillespie is a right-hand hitter, and the breaking ball is in for a strike. Gillespie has struck out, grounded out, and singled. Well, Pettitte needs one more out, and then you could give him a big pat on the back and another terrific outing. 7 innings if he gets the final out. 7 innings, 2 runs. And Pettitte deals low. And Pettitte, you know, if he had a little bit of luck, might have got out of the 2nd inning without giving up a run, and he'd have a shutout going. However, the 2 runs did score. It'll be a 1-1. And the pitch is low, and the count 2-1 on Cole Gillespie. Kelly Johnson, the tying run, leads off first, a very short lead. And the pitch is a breaking ball low, and the count 3-1. There's a lefty hitter on deck, Stephen Drew. Now, Andy is set. Johnson a short lead, the 3-1 right through there. Pumped a fastball right across, and the count 3-2. But, of course, that gives Johnson a little bit of help. He'll get a running start. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, so something in the gap or down the line he could score. The Yankee outfield playing very deep in no doubles defense. And Pettitte holds the set about chest high. And here's the payoff. He struck him out swinging. Another great job. Every start is great for Andy Pettitte. Every start. The best year he's ever had. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. And now at the end of 7 innings of play, 3-2 Yanks on the New York Yankees radio network, driven by Jeep.
Whether you root for the Bronx Bombers or the Amazons in Queens, one thing remains the same.
Vasquez. Change up. And let's see his numbers. Vasquez, 1 and 2 ERA, a little over 4. He's been in 21 games, 24 innings, 18 hits, 11 earned runs, 3 home runs he's given up, 13 walks and 24 strikeouts. Batters hitting .209 off of Vasquez.
Now we'll give you Herron's numbers. So here's a young right-hander, Esmerling Vasquez. And Derek Jeter leads off and hits a ground ball to third. Reynolds fields a long throw, is not in time. It hit Jeter and rolled a little beyond first, but Jeter had it beaten. So a weak ground ball single to Reynolds inside the third base bag, and there's a leadoff hit. Here are the numbers on Herron. Did he pitch great? Boy, did he. 7 innings, 3 runs, 6 hits, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk. I told you coming in he had 101 strikeouts and 20 walks. That's a 5-1 margin. And tonight it was an 8-1 ratio. So he pitched great. He gave up a 2-run home run to A-Rod in the first, and then 2 3-out singles, all hard hit. Swisher to share an A-Rod for the Ribby in the third, and those are the 3 runs. Now here's Swisher. And Vasquez deals foul, third base side out of play, and the count 0-1.
And we just watched that replay again. Mark Reynolds, he gets to plays and he throws balls away. That hit Jeter in the chest. That's hard to do. But they gave him a base hit because he had the throw beaten anyway. But that was an awful throw by Reynolds.
Listen to the Let's Go Yankees. Amazing. Jeter with the lead. And the 0-1, Swisher hits a ground ball fair, over first, down the right field line, rolling to the right field corner. It'll be an extra base hit. Jeter rounds third. They got to hold him there. Nick Swisher doubles inside the bag at first. The Yankees now have second and third and no one out as Jeter arrives at third safely. Swisher at second. Keep your family safe and secure with a gift of life insurance from New York Life Insurance Company. Since 1845, they've been helping families ensure their loved ones have a safe and secure financial future. New York Life, the company you keep. Well, the Yankees have it set up. They can score 2 runs without getting a hit. Arizona brings the infield up. Here is Teixeira. Second and third, no one out. The pitch is high, 1-0. Swisher's second hit. Jeter has 2 hits. Teixeira is 1 for 3. Yankees need 2 long fly balls. The pitch inside. And the count 2-0 on Tex. Tampa has lost. Boston has lost. Well, it could be a big win for the Yanks. It'll be a 2-0 to Teixeira. Swung on in line, there's a base hit, center field. Jeter scores, they're going to hold Swisher. Oh, it's a ringing base hit for Teixeira. And the Yankees take a 4-2 lead and have first and third and no one out.
And you do understand now why A.J. Hinch did not want to take out Dan Herron. This goes on every single day. Now, Vasquez, you know, he doesn't want to get hit like that. Now, pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre Jr. going out to talk to him. But he throws hard. He's got a good breaking pitch. The breaking pitch is not over the plate, so they're sitting on the fastball and hitting it.
Are they ever? Well, as they confer on the mound, time for the Yankees Power Report, sponsored by Indian Point Energy Center, the region's most reliable source of electric power. A-Rod's home run was his 9th. The 3 RBIs give him 48. Teixeira's RBI gives him 45. Yankees led by Cano's 14 homers, 49 RBIs. And that's the Yankee Power Report for the night, sponsored by Indian Point Energy Center. Now here's Alex Rodriguez, first and third, no one out, 4-2 Yanks. The pitch is a slider inside, and the count 1-0.
We were talking about this bullpen. Let me give you some numbers. The Arizona bullpen has blown 12 saves. Their ERA is 7.15. Batters are hitting .304 against them, and they are last in strikeouts, 138 altogether.
The 1-0 is low, and the count 2-0.
You're not going to win a lot of games like that.
No, and you use your bullpen all the time. You have to. Arizona's dropped the middle infield back. They're looking for 2. But there's no one out. Even if they got 2, a run would score. There'll be a 2-0 to A-Rod. The pitch low in the count, 3-0 to a breaking ball. No, 3-0. Arizona does have their bullpen up. Now Alex with a count of 3-0. Swisher at third, Teixeira at first. And the 3-0 is high ball 4. So they're loaded up with no one out.
Well, I think that's Chad Qualls out in the Diamondbacks bullpen. Qualls having his own troubles this year.
Oh, is he ever?
Oh.
He was the closer, and when Susan gives you his numbers, he is a closer, the highest ERA you've ever heard. He's not the closer anymore, but now here is Cano. So here the Yankees have it set up to blow the game wide open. They have the bases loaded, no one out in the 8th. And they have Cano, Posada, and Granderson. You said, well, gee, they ought to bring in a lefty. They don't have a lefty. They literally do not have a lefty. Now here's Cano. Pitch is outside 1-0. Now, this is why you have to have a lefty. Now, I don't care if he's a nondescript lefty who's been around the track a couple of times. You got to have one lefty to throw a breaking ball to the Canos and the Grandersons of the world. Bases loaded, no one out, a run in the 8th. Swisher at third, Teixeira at second, A-Rod at first. And the Yankees now have a 4-2 lead.
And, of course, what a manager will always say, well, I'd rather have a good righty than instead of a bad lefty. Well, they don't have that either.
No, that's true. That'll be a 1-0 to Robbie. Line to center field. It is a base hit. Only one run will score. The runners had a hold. It's a base hit. And an RBI for Cano. It's a ribby for Robbie. And the Yankees take a 5-2 lead.
Well, here comes A.J. Hitch. He can't get out there fast enough. Fastball after fastball after fastball right down the middle of the plate. That thigh high. A.J. Hinch has his hand out for the ball before he even gets to the mound. This call to the bullpen is sponsored by Bay. Well, the new pitcher is Chad Qualls, who started out as the closer. He shouldn't have been the closer because that isn't who he is. But let me give you some numbers, and they are stunning. He's got an ERA of 8.87, been in 29 games, 23 innings, 42 hits. 28 runs, 3 home runs, 11 walks, and 24 strikeouts. Batters hitting .385 off him.
.385, wow. And an ERA of almost 9. Bases loaded, no one out. Posada swings, lifts a high fly to left. Ready to tag at third is Teixeira. The catch is made. The throw is weak. Teixeira scores. It's a sac fly and an RBI for Posada. And the Yankees now take a 6-2 lead with 3 here in the 8th. By the way, I kidded. It's a ribby for Robbie. The RBI for Cano was his 50th. The first Yankee to get 50 RBIs. And he is 2 ahead of A-Rod, who obviously has 48. That run will be charged to Vasquez. We'll give you Vasquez numbers when either these 2 runners on base score or the inning is over. But boy, you talk about getting banged around. Here's Granderson. With A-Rod at second, Cano at first, 1 out. The pitch outside. First and second, 1 out, 3 in. The Yankees have broken open a 3-2 game to lead 6-2. Granderson 0 for 3 on the night. And the right-hander deals. There's a strike at the knees. And the count 1-1. Java Chamberlain getting ready in the Yankee bullpen down the right field line. And it'll be a 1-1 to Curtis. Runners lead. Pitch low inside, breaking ball. The count 2-1.
Chad Qualls now going to be 32 years old. He spent most of his career with the Astros. Astros number 2 pick in 2000 out of the University of Nevada.
Now the right-hander is said to be a 2-1 to Granderson. Line base hit left center field. A-Rod rounds third. He'll score. Cano holds at second. It's a base hit and an RBI for Granderson. And the Yankees now take a 7-2 lead.
That was a nice piece of hitting by Granderson. He didn't try and do too much and just put off the bat. A nice compact swing, hit it up the middle. That's all you need to do.
Granderson gets his 21st RBI. These runs are all charged to Vasquez. And Vasquez has one more man on base, and that is Cano. Now here's Brett Gardner. Colin Curtis, by the way, is on deck. They're taking Pettit out of the game anyway, so he would hit for Pettit. Cano off second, Granderson off first. Pitch. There's a strike to Gardner.
And Qualls is all out of sync. He just fell off the mound. It's got a violent delivery anyway, but usually when he pitched with Houston, had sort of a three-quarter arm, but in a violent delivery, but explosive, and landed straight ahead. He's fallen off the mound towards first base.
There's the 0-1. There's a strike on the inside corner of the fastball, the count 0-2. Gardner 0 for 2 with a walk. The Yankees have scored 4 runs in the inning. They have 2 runners on base, and they've broken open a very close game and now lead at 7-2. Now the right-hander will deal 0-2 to Gardner. It's grounded weakly toward first. LaRoche flips to Qualls just in time. So the runners go to second and third. And here is Colin Curtis to hit for Pettit.
Colin Curtis came up yesterday, in case you missed yesterday's game. 25-year-old outfielder, corner outfielder. Played center some. He played center some in spring training also. Line drive hitter, gap hitter.
And he is pinch hitting for Pettit, the 9th hitter to hit in the inning. Jeter's on deck, and Jeter began this with the infield single. And then the Yankees really teed off on Vasquez and Qualls and have a 7-2 lead. They also have second and third with 2 out. Cano, the base runner at third, and Granderson, the runner at second. The pitch to Curtis, a fastball high, and the count 1-0. Curtis is a left-hand hitter. I wonder if his parents are here. I'm sure they are. They were here last night.
Yeah, they were here last night. His friends from ASU.
And it'll be a 1-0. There's a strike on the inside corner. The count 1-1.
Kind of interesting that the kids that have come up, Chad Huffman came up against his hometown team, Houston, when he had his first major league hit. It was against the team he rooted for as a child. He's from Houston. His parents were here. Curtis went to school here.
That'll be a 1-1. Swung on and hit in the air to deep center. Young going back, way over his head, all the way to the center field wall. 2-run score. Curtis holds at second with a double. His first major league hit is a 2-run double to the center field wall. And the Yankees now take a 9-2 lead.
And good for him. Robbie Cano is calling for the ball. Nick Swisher calling for the ball. Chad Qualls has the ball in his hand. Now they've got it. The umpire took it away, threw it to Robbie Cano. The high-fiving Robbie for getting the ball. So good for him.
Oh, that's great.
There's his brother. There's the Curtis family.
Oh, that's great. The Curtis family is here, and they saw their boy lash a 2-run double to the left center field wall, and the Yankees have a 9-2 lead. Here's Jeter, who began it with a single, and the pitch low, 1-0. Well, that's a hit. Like all other major leaguers, Colin Curtis will never forget. And 30 years from now, if you said, what was your first major league hit? Well, I hit a double off Chad Qualls in Arizona.
And he won't tell them that he had an ERA of almost 9.
The 1-0. No. Pitch a strike, they got 1-1. Well, that's just great.
That is great.
That's storybook. Now, the Yanks have really blown it open. They've scored 6 in the inning, have a 9-2 lead. And the 1-1 is outside the count, 2-1. I'll give you Esmerling Vasquez numbers, and boy, talk about, not being too good for the old ERA. Whoa. He went no thirds of an inning. And he gave up 5 runs. And there is a 2-1 to Jeter. Hit on the ground towards second. Johnson fields, throws to first to end the inning. I'll come back and give you the numbers on Vasquez and Qualls. But for the Yankees, they score 6 runs on 6 hits and leave 1. And now at the end of 7.5 innings of play, it's 9-2 Yanks on the New York Yankees radio network, driven by Jeep. Pettit goes 7 innings and gives up 2 runs on 6 hits. He strikes out 7 and walks 1. Another great effort for Andy. And he will go to 9-2. Jabba comes in. He'll face left-hand hitting Stephen Drew to begin the bottom of the 8th. The Yankees now with a 9-2 lead. The pitch is low. Imagine someone coming in and seeing the score. They think the Yankees blew them out. A 3-2 game going to the 8th. Jabba deals, and Drew takes low on the count, 2-0.
Fans come out to Yankee Stadium on Wednesday, June 30th, when the Yanks take on the Mariners. The first 18,000 fans in attendance will receive a 27-time World Champions T-shirt, courtesy of Supercuts.
Now the 2-0, and there's a strike at the knees, and the count 2-1. Now the pitch is line foul outside of third. Broke his bat, hit it fat outside the line. The count 2-2. There is quite a Scranton contingent now. They all have friends here now. You have Colin Curtis and Kevin Russo and Chad Hoffman.
And you know what, John? They've all had their moment. Kevin Russo against the Mets.
Right.
Chad Hoffman against his boyhood idols, the Astros. And now here with his parents here, Colin Curtis.
He won't be sleeping tonight.
No.
He'll think about that hit. I don't blame
He
him.
told me he didn't sleep the night they called him up either, so...
Drew is 0-for-3. Now the Yanks now have a 9-2 lead here in the bottom of the 8th. And Jabba deals low in the count, 3-2.
They're doing such great work, Director John Moore with Yes. They found his parents. They had, afterwards, they were showing his dad waving at him. And what a sight.
The payoff is grounded foul outside of first.
They're right in back of the Yankee dugout, so Colin came out and his mother was applauding. She looked a lot less nervous tonight than she did last night. And he tips his cap, and the father was smiling and waving. Can you imagine what that's like?
No, that's fabulous. Really fabulous. Now Jabba will deal 3-2. And the pitch is low, ball 4. The Yankees, it's unimportant, it was a 7-run lead, but the Yankees all pointed at the third base umpire, John Hirschbeck, and I guess Hirschbeck didn't think it was much of a swing because he remained motionless. So Drew is on with a walk. One thing, we have to remember that Andy Pettitte pitched in a pressure situation all game. And outside of an odd 2-run single by Dan Herron, what a game he pitched, huh? 2 runs, 6 hits, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk.
Amazing.
He'll run his record to 9-2 and probably lower his ERA that began at 2.47. He's just been fabulous. He's a better pitcher. It's simple as that. Here is Justin Upton, the pitch low.
And this has been a problem with Java. I know it's only been a few times he's come in the 8th where he hasn't done well, but him getting behind hitters when he comes in is something that has to be corrected. I know that simplistic, but it does. And they keep throwing him out here.
And the pitch is strike on the inside corner. Well, you know, Susan, in a way, you're right. With his stuff, you hear one cliche after another, but the cliche to fit is he has to trust his stuff. When you have an arm like that, challenge the hitters. There's the 1-1. There's a strike on the outside corner, inside corner, outside corner. Now the count 1-2.
Now that was a great pitch. He took a little off that. That was only 90 miles an hour. You don't have to throw 95 all the time. You don't have to hit so hard. That was a great pitch. Had him really off balance.
Chamberlain is set. And the 1-2 is low. And the count 2-2. The Yankees now with a 9-2 lead, so the rubber game of this series will be tomorrow night. Javi Vasquez and Dontrell Willis. Java's 2-2 is fouled off Posada's mask. Now he shakes it off. The ball went in the air and in back. But can you imagine what that feels like? That's like getting punched in the... I just saw it again. Wow.
Hit the part of the helmet that's right over his forehead. And all he did was get up and put his hand out. Give me the ball.
Now the 2-2. Strike 3. Outside corner slider. Great pitch. So 1 away. And that will bring up Chris Young.
And Upton didn't like that pitch at all. And I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what. It had an inch or two of the plate on the outside corner. Let's see if it was low. We're seeing it from the other side. No, it was above the knees. I don't know what. There's been a lot of pitches argued that are definitely strikes.
Here's Chris Young, who is 0-for-3, another right-hand hitter. Drew leads off first. 1 out, bottom of the 8th, and the pitch is popped up to shallow right. Cano is out on the grass, and he makes a catch. And there are 2 away. Head over to Wendy's for the new $2.99 Barbecue Bacon Deluxe Value Meals. Topped with Applewood smoked bacon and barbecue sauce. With fries and a drink, only $2.99 each. Now 2 down. Here's a left-hand hitter, Adam LaRoche. And Java deals low. LaRoche walked, robbed of a hit on a great stab by Cano of a line drive, the defensive play of the game, and then fly to left. Stephen Drew leads off first with 2 out. And Jabba deals. There's a strike. And the count 1-1.
Well, there's a young right-hander warming up in the Diamondbacks pen, Sam Demmel. He's out of the A's organization. He's only 24. He's from Texas Christian. And he just got here. He's the pitcher they got from the A's for Connor Jackson.
There's the 1-1. There's a strike. The breaking ball strike. The other thing is, it's a high breaking ball. I think the lack of speed really fooled Adam LaRoche, who couldn't swing. So the count 1-2. Now Jabba will deal 1-2 to LaRoche. It's low in the count 2-2. Yankees have a 9-2 lead, but if you just tuned in, it hasn't been that easy. The Yanks had a 3-2 lead going to the top of the 8th, and they went crazy against the Arizona bullpen. Scored 6 and now have a fairly safe 9-2 lead. It'll be a 2-2. He struck him out swinging. Oh, in the inning. No runs, no hits, 1 left. Now, at the end of 8 innings of play, 9-2 Yanks on the New York Yankees radio network, driven by Jeep. That'll shut out the Cubs 2-0. There's the 1-0. Pitch low. 2 losing ball clubs, so what? But that Lou Piniella going back to Seattle.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
I bet he got a great ovation.
I'll bet he did. I'll bet he did.
Now the 2-0 to Pena. There's a strike.
As John said, tomorrow, Javi Vasquez against Dontrell Willis. And we'll be on the air at 6 o'clock once again.
Back east, 9 o'clock.
Oh, 6 o'clock here. I keep forgetting.
I do all the time.
I don't know where I am.
Here's the 2-1. Cut out of this 2-2.
Meanwhile, Sam Demmel throws a terrific fastball. He's got a 4-seamer that he's thrown a thinking fastball at 90.
There's the 2-2 to Pena. A high pop. Shallow left. In comes Gillespie. He'll make the catch, and Demmel works a 1-2-3. At the end of 8 1/2, it's 9-2 Yanks on the New York Yankees radio network, driven by Jeep. Japanese. Robertson's 0-1. There's another strike in the count 0-2. That'll be an 0-2 to Snyder. Pitch is fouled. The only runs that Arizona scored really were helped by Snyder. In the second inning, 2 outs, no one on. LaRoche walked, and Reynolds doubled to left to put runners at second and third. Snyder came up. I think he fell behind 0-2, and he had to have at least a 10-pitch at bat. He fouled pitch off after pitch. The count finally went to 3-2, and Snyder walked. Pitch is inside. One of only 2 walks given up by Pettit. And then with the bases loaded, Dan Herron hit a ground ball right over the bag at first, a 2-run single, and those are the only 2 Diamondback runs. There's the 1-2. It's low on the count 2-2. Yankees had scored 2 in the first. A Jeter single and a 2-run A-Rod home run. Now Robertson will deal 2-2. And the pitch low on the count, 3-2. And then the 2 runs by Arizona on Harron's single tied it in the third inning with 2 outs and no one on. Swisher singled, Teixeira singled, and then A-Rod lined a single to center. The Yanks had a 3-2 lead, and it stayed that way until the 8th when Arizona was forced to go to their bullpen. They hit for Harron in the 7th, and the Yankees scored 6 runs. Pitch, line to left, there's a base hit. Gardner fields, throws in. You know, we say a product of the count. I don't blame Robertson at all. He had missed and gone to 3-2. You don't walk about it with a 9-2 lead. Well, he threw it over, and Snyder belted a single. Here's Augie Ojeda, another switch-hitting infielder like Abreu. Those are the 2 backup infielders. And Ojeda is hitting for the pitcher, Demmel. And he takes a strike. Now the pitch is pop foul, third base side out of play. It'll be an 0-2 to Ojeda. And Robertson deals outside. 1-2. Here's the 1-2 to Ojeda. Fouls it back to the screen. Snyder at first with 1 out. We're in the bottom of the 9th. The Yankees have a 9-2 lead as they try to close it and set the stage for the rubber game of the 3-game series tomorrow evening. Lefty Dontrell Willis for Arizona. Javi Vasquez, who's been so brilliant the past month or more for the Yanks. Here's the 1-2. And it's grounded foul. First base side of home plate, and the count remains 1-2. Ten strikeouts for Yankee pitching. And now TUE. Here's the left-hand hitting second baseman, Kelly Johnson, representing Arizona's last hope. And the pitch is cut on and missed. Now Robertson deals 0-1, and it goes back to the screen. Now we'll call it a wild pitch as Snyder trots to second. The base runner, Chris Snyder, off second. Pitch, a high fly to deep center. Granderson going back on the track, and it's off the wall in deep center. Snyder scores, and Kelly Johnson holds that second with a ribby double, and the Yankee lead is 9-3. I don't know why it looks so deep to me, and people keep hitting the wall. It's 407. And to the left field side of the batter's protection wall is 413. The same on the right field side. Anyway, that one between the left field 413 and 407 in dead center went off that big green wall. So it's a ribby double for Kelly Johnson. And the Yankee lead 9-3. The pitch is a strike to Cole Gillespie. Saves a lot. And we'll have another 2-2. You know, the Yankees have someone up in the bullpen. I think it's Boone Logan. Just in case. Once again, it'll be a 2-2 from Robertson. Struck him out swinging. Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win. Well, tonight the Yankees have secured their 44th win of the year. Give your family the gift of a safe and secure financial future. New York Life Insurance Company, they're safe and secure, so you can be too. New York Life, the company you keep. Now the Yankees win it 9-2. Pettit goes to 9-2. I'm wrong. The Yankees win the game 9-3. Remember the run that Arizona scored, John. Now the Yankees win it 9-3, and they gain a full game on both Tampa Bay and Boston, who both lost 2-1. Well, Susan has her star, so quickly let's go down. Oh, one forgets their first major league hit. No one ever asked. Well, the Yankees win at 9-3. We'll get back with the totals in a moment from Chase Field here in Phoenix. All of it upcoming on the Yankees radio network, driven by Jeep. Chase Field after the Yankees 9-3 victory. The player of the game is sponsored by your Tri-State Ford dealers. But since I have executive power on this award, tonight it's the players of the game. I don't know how you would split up. Andy Pettit pitched great, and A-Rod knocked in all the runs in the early part of the game. So both Alex Rodriguez and Andy Pettit are our players of the game, sponsored by your Tri-State Ford dealers. The Yankees hit one home run tonight. It brings their season total to 79, and for every home run the Yankees hit this year, your local Hyundai dealers will donate $100 to the Hope and Heroes Foundation. The season total stands at $7,900. Guests on the postgame receive a gift card from The Capitol Grill, acclaimed for their dry-aged steaks and exceptional service. In New York at the Chrysler Center on East 42nd, the Time Life Building on West 51st, and at 120 Broadway in Lower Manhattan. Now, here are the totals. For the Yanks, 9 runs, 12 hits, no errors. They left 4. For Arizona, 3 runs, 9 hits, no errors, and they left 8. Andy Pettit, the winner, is 9-2. Dan Herron, the loser, 7-6. The first time the Yankees have ever beaten Dan Herron. He had been 4-0 against them. With a win, the Yankees go to 44-27. And with the loss, the Diamondbacks are 28-44. The crowd, 45,776. And once again, the final score, the Yankees 9 and Arizona 3.